German political leaders are preparing for coalition talks following Sunday's knife-edge election result. The Social Democrats leader Olaf Scholz says discussions could begin this week as he looks to partner with the Greens and the Liberal FDP party. And don't forget, you can always get DW News on the go. Just download our app from Google Play or from the App Store. That'll give you access to all of the latest news from around the world, as well as push notifications for breaking news. And if you're part of a news story, you can use the app to send us photos and videos. This is DW News. I'll be back at the top of the hour with more world news followed by the day. I hope to see you there.
Us along for the ride. It's all about the perspective, culture, information.
This is DW News
and more. DW, made for minds.
Learn German with DW. At any time and in any place. Using news, video novellas.
Ich habe eine Zusage für das Praktikum.
Songs to sing along to.
Sie ist der Komparativ vom Superlativ. Man sieht sie oft in ihrem Duden vertieft.
And interactive exercises. Everything is online, mobile and interactive. Learn German for free with DW.
When I first menstruated, I had no clue whatsoever.
A film about a taboo.
Menstruation has always been a shameful, dirty secret.
About women and girls across the world.
Most of the girls end up being at home. They miss their schools.
Against silence and for equal opportunity. Taboo menstruation.
It's as if Pandora's box is opening.
Pandora's Box starts October 11th on DW.
We are living during the most extraordinary time in human history.
All transport will go fully electric.
Rev, the auto and mobility show. Licensed to legendary status. To mark the James Bond movies, Rev casts its expert eye over Aston Martin, the car 007 relies on. At the wheel, Aston Martin Formula One driver and four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel.
There's a great heritage in the brand of Aston Martin. It's very British. Obviously, James Bond works for the Queen.
Licensed to turn fiction into fact. The 5 top trends at the International Motor Show.
dreams that we once thought were just figments of Isaac Asimov's imagination are now coming true.
And a license to electrify. Rev checks out the new all-electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
This is a beauty. Very nice. I like it very much.
James Bond has no time to die, and Rev has no time to sit around. Let's go.
The Aston Martin DB5, built-in machine gun, 210 kilowatts, top speed 229 kilometers an hour. James Bond's car in the latest film, No Time to Die.
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
25 of these Bond cars are going on the market for €3 million each, complete with simulated oil slick delivery system and rotating number plate. Too pricey? You could try becoming a Formula One driver for Aston Martin like Sebastian Vettel. The four-time world champion is unfazed by the famous name.
I'm sure that I will drive a lot faster than James Bond.
Would Sebastian Vettel make a good James Bond? For years, Aston Martin has supplied James Bond's cars. Now, the British luxury brand is trying its hand at Formula One again. The new car was presented by drivers Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, and the man who plays Bond on screen.
Here's a word from Bond, James Bond.
Hello, Daniel Craig here. I just want to send a massive congratulations to all at Aston Martin for getting back onto the F1 grid for the first time since 1960. And what a lineup of drivers. Sebastian Vettel, 4 times world champion.
Out of the two of you, who's James Bond?
We'll both be, feeling like 007 behind that wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of buttons. That's
machine guns on the side of the chassis to eliminate the competition.
It's a big difference from the previous cars that I drove.
The DB5 made its cinema debut in 1964 in Goldfinger. It was the start of a beautiful friendship. Siegfried Tescher has written several books on the relationship between James Bond's cars and the automotive industry.
I think that without James Bond, Aston Martin would have gone under. When the first film came out, the car had a sensational effect. It was the ultimate men's toy. Suddenly, they had so many orders they couldn't keep up. Sammy Davis Jr. wrote a blank check and said, "Give me that car. I have to have it." And many pop stars and celebrities immediately ordered an Aston Martin. Paul McCartney bought one. Mick Jagger bought one.
James Bond, driving his Aston Martin DB5, always got away, no matter who was chasing him. Until 1994, that is, when a red Ferrari showed up in the rearview mirror in GoldenEye. The production company had decided to build the Italian motoring legend into its storylines.
They came here, we discussed the use of the car. The car was in a James Bond style, but not dangerous, with a nice woman, and that is important.
Still, a crucial adjustment was needed to win over Ferrari to the idea.
On this occasion, the woman protagonist drove a Ferrari and overtakes James Bond, so she won, and that was good for us.
The lesson is, even an Aston Martin doesn't overtake a Ferrari. Unless you're Sebastian Vettel, that is. In the 6th race of this Formula One season, he did overtake a Ferrari.
Yeah, let's see how we get on, but I'm not too bothered about Ferrari or not. I think much more I'm looking on our side that we are able to extract the maximum of our potential. So working together closely with the team, trying to improve the car, looking, being obsessed about trying to find a detail that helps us to improve.
Formula One cars are changing all the time to keep up with technological developments. These modern racing cars are at the cutting edge. So were James Bond's cars. Ian Fleming, who created the character, made sure of that.
Fleming had a thing for cars and technology, and he was happy to get expert advice. What's possible today, and what might be possible in the future? And one of the ideas was a radar tracker. The forerunner to a modern navigation system.
Sometimes Bond briefly swaps his old Aston Martin classic for a modern-day car, usually when futuristic technology is required. He once drove a BMW by remote control in a high-speed car chase around a parking garage. And this sleek, wedge-shaped Lotus Esprit came in handy when Bond needed a car that could go underwater.
The production designer happened to see this car parked on the studio grounds and said, if we need a submarine car, I can make something of that one.
Once, just once, James Bond eschewed technology and sold it in a Renault 2CV, in For Your Eyes Only.
That was part of the idea, to give rivals the slip with the 2CV on difficult terrain. It was a one-off, not exactly typical James Bond.
What is typical Bond is that the films have served as launch pads for other Aston Martin models, or as testing grounds for prototypes. The DB10 was specially developed by Aston Martin's engineers for Spectre. The British brand has a proud history in motor racing that predates the Bond films. Numerous victories in the Le Mans 24-hour race testify to that. In the late 1950s, Aston Martin also spent 2 seasons in Formula One. And now it's back again.
You know, the team is based in the UK, in England, so obviously all the British people are very excited about the return. Well, obviously there's a great heritage in the brand of Aston Martin. It's very British, and obviously James Bond works for the Queen.
For nearly 60 years, wherever Bond goes, the Aston Martin DB5 is never far away. For example, there were 10 DB5s at the set of No Time to Die in the Italian city of Matera. Bond has always been faithful to his Aston Martin.
He's got nothing else to love, because all his personal relationships have ended or died over the years. He's a widower. He has no luck with women, or women have no luck with him. There is one thing he loves, till death do us part, as it were, and that's his Aston Martin DB5.
The beloved Aston Martin gets put to the test again in the latest film. Action is the key to Bond's success at the box office. And the most spectacular car chases are down to the stuntmen who take over from Daniel Craig when the going gets tough.
Stuntmen are the unsung heroes of the James Bond franchise. Without them, James Bond films would never have been what they are.
Sebastian Vettel drives his Aston Martin himself, no matter what the conditions. Is it just a matter of time until his Formula One car, the Aston Martin AMR 21, makes its first appearance in a James Bond film?
Well, I'm not James Bond, and I'm sure that I will drive a lot faster than James Bond does. I think we both will, as we are better drivers than James Bond.
2 Aston Martins, 2 famous drivers. No matter which setting, the thrills are guaranteed.
What are the cars of the future? Where is mobility headed? We'll try to answer these questions by looking at 5 trends we identified at the International Motor Show, the IAA.
Transformers are in. As urban spaces are getting more and more crowded, it seems like urban mobility solutions are shrinking. What you see right here is the city transformer. It is the comfort of a car crossed with the flexibility and the space-saving capabilities of a motorcycle. From what I understand, the car, when you drive it at normal speeds on the road, is 1.4 meters wide. But when you need to park it, it can shrink to just 1 meter wide, which means that in a single parking slot, you can park 4 of these city transformers, thereby increasing the chances of actually getting parking in the cities and also saving a lot of time and saving space. I'm not quite sure if this counts as a transformer or not, but let's just say that this is something of the X-Men of last mile mobility solutions. It is all the benefits of, let's say, a motorcycle, although pedal powered with assistance from a 1000-watt battery, combined with the flexibility of moving goods like you would in a van. This is the Fulcra, which honestly reminds me of something we have back in India called the Jugaad, but it's a lot safer and a lot more legal. Another trend that we've noticed at the IAA 2021 is the fact that there is still an attempt being made to save the internal combustion engine using synthetic fuel.
So A-Fuel is a global energy carrier. There is a focus to produce e-methanol in desert countries. So for example on Sunbelt. There we have high energy density of the solar, and there we can produce methanol and as well as the additional component, the C-Sync. So we produce to 90% methanol and 10% graphite, which we can burn down in the ground. And there's a storage for the carbon. So that's the reason why we can achieve minus 24 grams per kilometer. CO2 neutral is too less because we already have too much temperature on Earth. So we need more. We need to be active. We need to reduce emissions. And at the moment there are different concepts to reduce CO2 emissions, but one way which can store for a long time is to do it in a solid state.
Another trend that we've noticed at the IAA 2021 is that while most of the show is BEV dominated, the fuel cell electric vehicle hasn't been written off yet. Right here with me is BMW's iX5 Hydrogen. It is the company's fuel cell electric vehicle, which they believe can complement their battery electric vehicles, because they believe that not every customer leads a lifestyle that is compatible with electric mobility. This car has a power output of 275 kilowatts, which is a combination of the fuel cell as well as the battery. Although BMW says that with just the fuel cell alone, the power output is 125 kilowatts, which means it is the most powerful fuel cell currently used in the automotive industry. Currently, this car can give you a range of 500 kilometers, although in the future, BMW hopes to take that number up to 600. We're in the 21st century now, which means that a lot of things that we once thought were just figments of Isaac Asimov's imagination are now coming true. Which brings me to one of the biggest trends at the 2021 IAA, which is autonomy, or the self-driving car. If you take a look right here, I'm sitting in the iCrystal Mobileye electric autonomous shuttle. There is absolutely no steering wheel and no pedals. This is a shuttle with level 4 autonomy, and it can function as a bus, it can function as a metro, it can also function as a personal mobility solution where you call it using an app and it ferries you around with absolutely no need for a driver.
It doesn't drink and drive, it doesn't text and drive, it doesn't get, agitated or distracted, it doesn't fall asleep. There are a lot of advantages why actually this technology will save lives, and we know 94% of actually all accidents, 1.35 million traffic deaths per year,